What's really good, my people? Welcome into No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me, as always. We got a lot to talk about. NBA, NFL, you know how we get down. Draymond still punching people in the head. Yusuf Nurkic was on the brunt of it last night. We'll talk about that. Nikola Jokic gets ejected on Serbian night in Chicago. That has a lot of Serbians that came to see him. It's not even a hot take, but a very passionate take on that. And then, of course, I just got back from Vegas in-season tournament. I want to recap that. We got some funny stories me and Big Nick the Quick haven't even caught up on yet. And then we'll move over to the NFL. We'll talk Mahomes. We'll talk the Bills. We'll talk Cam Newton. He had a hot take. And then we'll go through some guys that need to be freed. I'll give you my first one. Devontae Adams, man. Free my guy, Devontae Adams. We'll get into it. No Catch-Up Sports Talk via Chicago. Let's get to it.
Now look at Mossy. Really? Oh, so that's how you're going to play it. You going to do this? Okay, fine. That's all I needed. That's all I needed for him to do that. And it became personal with me.
Big Nick the Quick, what's goody, man?
How we feeling?
You know, chilling. You hear that man came out? That's because I saw Juicy J over the weekend.
I was about to say, were you in Memphis?
Hey. I saw Juicy this weekend.
If you go to Memphis, everybody says Maine. They told me about it. I didn't know until I got out there. Literally just Maine. Okay, Maine.
All right, Maine.
Yeah, all right, Maine.
Yeah, I just saw Maine. Juicy over the weekend.
Halliburton
and Buddy Hield was in there too, man. Shout out the guys, in-season tournament boys. We got a lot to catch up on, man. Let's kick it off with this in-season tournament recap, the Vegas recap. First of all, wait, before I get into that, my beard is back, baby.
Oh, yeah, we good. You're worried about it. Almost stressed
we had
out,
been talking about it.
He thought he had cut it too low.
Man, I'm back, man. The mustache is fully thick. You know what I'm saying? It's not as thin as it was before.
You just give it a couple weeks, man. It was not. You were worried about it, man. It's nothing,
back.
Man.
I'm back. You know what I'm saying? So, for those who don't know, I was out in Vegas for the in-season tournament. It was awesome. I got to cover it for Action Network. Shout out my people over there. It was a lot of fun, a lot of activities. The setup, I don't know how it was from home, Nick, but from there in Vegas, I think it was really well done. I thought the ESPN TNT split on the semifinal was really fun with both networks going back and forth. Stephen A. and Malika talking to Ernie and Shaq and Barkley. I thought that was really cool. So overall, had a very Final Four feel. Outdoors, had the activities. You could shoot jump shots. They had a concert. Nick, the concert was Nelly and TLC, right?
I saw. That was brutal.
Listen, I'm standing there watching it by myself before I go in on the media entrance side. So I was like, let me just catch some of this contract before I walk in the side door. And I hear this white couple is standing next to me, and I hear the guy go, I thought TLC had 3 people. Where's the third girl?
Oh, boy.
And then I heard the wife go, yeah, I'm not sure. I thought it was 3 too. And then they walked off. it was
the me and me has to I would have, excuse me. I don't know where y'all have been.
It was dark. It was
for the past 15 years ago, but yeah.
Yeah, it was some dark.
Like 20 years, right? It was like 20 years ago. We were in high school.
Left us a long time. May she rest in peace. But I thought that was some very dark humor that I was like, man.
So on TV, that particular aspect of it was terrible. I just thought they could have done that a lot better. Yeah, because you had Allie LaForce kind of hosting this battle of the fans thing. So Nelly would go, and you want to see how many people can do his.
It was like a fake versus.
Right. Then they bring out TLC's audience, so you want to see how many people can do theirs. And Allie LaForce is kind of stuck in the middle of it, and it's awkward. And it was just I would have handled that differently. But I did think the 2-set thing was cool. One thing that it really, which we already knew, but it really drove home just the differences between ESPN and TNT. You weren't watching on TV, but ESPN is just so buttoned up, right? It's so rigid. It's so stiff. It's so not fun. Right? Yeah. Then you go to TNT and it's these guys are so comfortable. They can say whatever, right? Barkley literally goes to Bob Myers. He goes, hey, Bob, congratulations on jumping off the train before it went off the tracks.
I heard that.
I was like, yo, that's hilarious. And Bob Myers doesn't really know what to say. But it's true because he did, right? 100%. But like stuff like that, you just see the differences in the crew. Like even between like Ernie and Malika, right? Like Ernie hosts like whatever, man. These guys are gonna do whatever. Malika's just trying to keep it in nice, tightly packed segments. And obviously you're on TV. I don't know how producers do the TNT thing because it does seem like they're kind of just able to go on for a lot longer, whereas ESPN is always packed in tight. So it just reminded me that like, yeah, TNT is just so much better than anything ESPN is putting out as far as pregame, postgame content.
Yeah, the chemistry between those guys on TNT is what makes it all work.
It's ridiculous.
The chemistry is next level. And then that, for the producer side, they kind of know how long things are going to run. And then Ernie eventually is just like, yo, we got to get out of here. We'll be right back type of thing. I was there in the plaza for the Barkley thing when he said, I want to say what's up to Bob Myers and congratulations on stealing all the free money on TV like us.
Yeah.
And then congratulations for jumping off the Warriors train before it completely derailed. And yeah, Bob was like, I'm just happy to be here.
Yeah.
Like,
no stress.
Yeah.
5 o'clock every day. The whole bunch of money, you're good. Yeah.
Exactly. So yeah, man, it was a really fun time. It was a really well organized event. The only thing was that 2 o'clock start for the first semifinal for the Pacers was kind of tough because there was nobody in there, man. If we're keeping it 100, I was in there. There was nobody
on TV. It was bad.
It looked like the noon game for the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, worse.
There's just nobody there. It was.
Go ahead.
No, it was nobody there. It was quiet. Anybody that was there was like family, or like an executive, or
certainly not fans of the
media
team.
member. Like
it was very like corporate, right?
Yes, I mean, well, at that stage it was, and then the Lakers fans started to file in. You know what's funny is I think there was some confusion that if you bought the first game, did you get the second game?
Yeah.
And that wasn't the case. If you bought the first game, you got the first game, and they cleared the arena.
So it's not like the NCAA where you buy it in sessions.
Yes.
It was ever been an NCAA tournament, you're buying them in blocks. So like you'll go to the morning session, which might be 2 games, afternoon session might be 2, whatever.
Right. You had like, for example, if you buy the Final Four, you get the 2 games.
Yeah.
And if you buy the day pass or whatever it is in the Sweet 16, you'll get multiple games.
You get the multiple games. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. So I think a lot of people, there was some confusion that you get multiple games, but that wasn't the case.
So some people thought they was going to be able to stay for the Lakers game.
Well, no. I don't know. I don't know if the people that actually bought it, but people that were talking about it were like, oh, I wonder if people get 2 games, both games. And that just wasn't the case.
Yeah. Especially when you said all the Lakers fans came in. No, on TV, it presented like that too. Obviously, like the timing, number one, was weird. You had said they didn't want to go up against Thursday Night Football, which I guess kind of makes sense, but they ended up going up against Thursday Night Football anyway. I think that it would have been smarter just to put it at a regular time, especially because you really lose a West Coast audience. I mean, folks are at work at 2 o'clock on a Thursday. But also, just as far as watching the game on TV, it felt so much like the bubble, right? Like, I think the fact that no one was in the stands wasn't helped by the fact that the stands were dark too. Again, you were sitting there, so I'm sure you were in it, but there was a noticeable part where they just pretty much blacked out the stands and made it like this blue light. And it looked cool, but knowing that nobody was in there and you can kind of tell that there was just no energy for that early game, it literally felt like the bubble. And to me, I was like, oh man, like, especially coming after that Pacers game that they played to get into the Final Four for the tournament. Like, you could tell their home crowd was going crazy. Remember that game? Halliburton's dad's going crazy. Like, you're really feeding off the energy. That wasn't there in this particular setting. I don't know if there's anything they can really do about it. It's not like fans really have enough time. You know, if you were a Pacers fan, you would have essentially had to make that decision on Monday night that you were going to be in Vegas on Thursday buying tickets. And it's just not realistic for most people. So
I was talking to KLC from The Ringer, and his thing was like, I think maybe it should be only the championship in Vegas.
Yes.
Maybe they only make it 1 game in Vegas.
That's what I think.
And they make it like a super hyped up event for 1 championship game.
Yes.
So it's not the situation that you had for the semis, but it was cool to go to 3 games in 2 days, had the day off in between. We got to do some other work. So that was cool. Overall success. It was a lot of fun. Shout out Adam Silver and the rest of the game for making that happen. Shout out to people at Action Network for allowing me to go over there and cover it. So that was dope. All right, let's get into Draymond Green.
Wait, real quick.
Yeah.
Do you have an issue with certain fans, Lakers fans or whoever, people giving the Lakers shit about hanging a banner for this? I don't, but I want to know where you are. And I think that that's kind of ridiculous.
Should definitely hang. I would hang it up.
Not a title, I'm sorry, a trophy.
I would hang it up.
Yeah, for sure.
You won a tournament that everybody was involved in. I would 100% hang it up. And I would and as a franchise coming into next year, I would try to win it again.
Yeah, why not?
I'd try to start stacking these bitches up. Yeah, I have no
absolutely.
problem with them hanging up a banner and doing all of that. It's only going to get bigger. And to be honest, it might be a spot where you could clip an early one now. If we're being honest, 20 years, it might be a lot more difficult.
Be a little bit different. Yeah,
it might be a little different to get one. So yeah, I take it seriously, and I have no problem with them hanging a banner. So
yeah, apparently now they're talking about the winner could be guaranteed a playoff spot. I don't know how that'll work because I've probably rare that you'll find a team that's going to win it that's going to be outside of at least that top
I think
6,
that's unnecessary, man. I think you saw that the players were locked in for the half a mil.
Yeah,
it doesn't even have to be half a mil.
Probably fix the point differential thing because I mean I don't care, but like I see how it creates some issues, like that Bulls Celtics game where Missoula's fouling.
No, man, fuck that. No, I don't have a problem with that at all.
But I'm just saying, yeah. I don't really know the other way that you can do. Obviously, they're trying to take it from soccer, and it's not. You can't really pile it on in soccer, but yeah, I don't know. I guess you figure that out.
I have no problem with this is an in-season tournament game. Yeah. We're gonna run up the score in this particular game.
Yeah, and just don't let us get up by 30. Yeah.
Just play D. I don't understand. So yeah, I have no problem with them running up the score. And also, man, what was I just about to say? I had something good for the tournament. We'll come back to it if I remember. Yeah. But let's move over to Draymond Green. Suns, Warriors. Yeah, go ahead. No, go ahead.
You saw Zion in person. I don't know.
Oh, yeah. You want to talk about Zion?
Well,
yeah,
no, I just
everything Stephen A. said is dead on.
100% true.
We can leave it at that.
I had texted the group chat. Zion, I saw the pregame interview that he did with Allie LaForce. Right. And look, man, I know all these guys smoke and all that. Zion was so high in this interview, like noticeably high. Couldn't look at her, eyes going over this way. At one point, he called her sir. Like, it was bad. And I should have known right there that I should have piled on the Lakers. But the Zion thing to me, like, both of those games, really, if you look at it, it's I don't know where you're at. I think we've talked about it before, but it was just it's one of those things where it's like, I don't know if this changes, right? Like, he's not a young guy anymore. He knows better. They've tried to do everything, I feel like, to kind of put the right people around him, whether it's bringing in guys like McCollum or different veterans, JJ Redick when he was younger. And it doesn't seem to really make a difference. And when I saw him in that pregame to what was a Final Four situation and a chance for him to kind of, help lift up that team, to show up like that, and then to play like that, and then to very clearly just not give a fuck, especially when last night or the night before you dropped 36, in the game following that. Like, it's just, the day after you dropped 36, it's just like, I think it's gone, man.
Well,
like, why would he change?
The thing is, the next day he dropped 36.
Yeah, I know, because
he's clearly
he can.
This is the classic conversation of, does he want to be one of the greats? And right now, clearly, mentally, he's not there. He's not interested. Doesn't care about just performing on a night-to-night because he's clearly out of shape. He's just not in shape, man.
Wasn't that the thing? He was coming to the season. He was in such great shape. It's like the Luke. How does he progressively get more out of shape by playing basketball?
He's clearly like stuffed into all his stuff. Like his warm-up, he's no. Like like his warm-ups they're too small. Yeah. Like he's stuffed into his shit. If you even pause, you go look at his shorts. He's stuffed into his shorts.
That's terrible.
They look like spandex.
He's actually
big.
fat out there. He's got to be pushing close to 400 pounds.
No, come on.
No, for real, man. Look how big he is, dude.
Nick,
he's 6'8".
Come on,
6'7".
He's not pushing 400
Come on, man. How much do you think Zion weighs, bro?
Zion probably weighs 340.
That's generous.
Yeah, Zion probably weighs like 340, 345. But, yeah, man, he's out of shape. And it just comes down to if he wants – and what Stephen A. was saying, it's very visible live. Like, you're looking at him, and he's 15 feet away.
Camera, right? Like,
and you're like, this guy is huge. So – yeah, I don't know, man. And we were watching the highlights of him at Duke, and the stark difference in frame is really jumps off the screen, man. He's not interested.
He's not interested at all.
Man, when men are not interested in doing something, it's very apparent. I'll say that about like our species. If they're not interested in doing that shit, it's very clear.
We can't fake it.
We can't fake it. He is not interested in like taking basketball seriously and it being the number one thing. He wants to have a good time. He wants to party. He wants to eat what he wants to eat. And I'll play ball when I need to play ball. And I'm making the max.
Yeah. And that's the other thing. It's like he's not fighting for a deal. Like the deal's there.
Yeah.
You look at him, it's I think it's similar like Ben Simmons. It's like, yeah, listen, like I read something the other day that said the Nets were banking on Ben Simmons being available this year. And I'm like,
don't bank.
Where?
Banking Simmons
shown zero interest in playing basketball over the last 6 years. Like he doesn't care about playing basketball.
Bank and Ben Simmons are not to be used in the same sentence,
except for the place that he goes every week to make sure that the accounts are okay.
Yes,
bank for Ben Simmons.
That bank.
So yeah. You are not relying on him. I think he's played 6 games this year, and I'd be surprised if he crosses 30. Like you, at some point, and that's where I'm kind of at with Zion. It's like he's not whatever he had. He's definitely not going to get back. Right? Like he didn't build on that. And
I mean, we all hold on, because we also are still talking about a 23-year-old.
He's 24,
so
he's an old 24. He's not a young 24.
But regardless of that, we're now starting to get to multiple years of he came out and said, "I'm not feeling like Zion yet, so I'm not going to play." Let's not forget that.
23.
Then he comes out and is playing and he's out of shape. Like there are multiple.
Zion.
There are
mentally.
multiple.
Right before the mentally, he goes physically, I'm healthy, but mentally, I'm not there. It's right before a playoff run.
This is
but
multiple.
He's doing windmills at warm up.
Yes, multiple situations where he's kind of showing you like basketball is not really that important to me. And I'll say this too. B.I. Brandon Ingram, it's clear that he's not holding them accountable for shit. Hey, yo, B.I., what we going to do if we win the money? We finna turn up, basically, is what they said.
What you expect? I mean, that's not on B.I. You can't tell another grown man shit.
What I'm getting at is they not focused on trying to win the West. They can win it or not. You understand what I mean?
Mm.
They could win the West or not win it. Doesn't matter. We're finna go crazy regardless. Doesn't matter. That's about what, because like you think motherfuckers are doing that with Kobe around?
Nah.
That's what I mean. So like,
isn't that why you bring in a CJ? So CJ's like, hey, guys, this whatever this is, this ain't it.
Yeah, but
it's like you don't want to listen to him. And this is a former
true.
NBPA president. It's not like CJ is a regular vet. Like you are the NBPA players president, right? Like you are a highly respected veteran.
100%. But what I'm getting at is, if CJ wasn't up there laughing with him, it's BI.
Yeah.
And guess who the 2 best players on the team are?
Yeah. Right.
Okay, then. So that's where the issue lies overall.
Jose Alvarado can't say anything to Zion Williams.
Yes. That's what I'm saying. Now, could BI be like, hey, man, the fuck you got going on? Let's get serious about this shit.
Bro, this is bullshit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they have a team.
But they're clearly the guys that are having fun together, running around and doing whatever. So it's a very layered situation, but it's clear he's not serious. He's unserious about his basketball career and legacy at the moment. Because right now he's getting ready to go down as the high school dunker that got to the league and could take anybody to the rack and finish on anybody and beat up anybody in the paint, but got fat and out of shape and didn't really care to do so on a night-to-night basis.
Yeah.
That's where the legacy is going. And this also leads me into the Draymond thing, because that's what, for me, that's where we're starting to get with this Draymond Green shit. We're not even going to remember this guy as being one of the best defenders we've ever seen, one of the best playmaking bigs we've ever seen, because that is what he is.
Most unique players we've ever seen.
One of the most unique guys we've ever seen. We're going to start, the first time his name comes up, it's going to be like, yeah, the fucking guy's a dirty player. And like, I don't even like Draymond Green. I'm not a big Draymond Green fan because of how he acts and the things he does. I respect his game so much. I respect how real he is. And I don't want to be in a position in 15 years when his name comes up, the first thing I think of is that he's a dirty player instead of one of the best lockdown defenders we've ever seen. Like, this is the difference between, the difference between guys like Zion and Dennis Rodman? Dennis Rodman did all the shit Zion did, but then pulled up to the gym and got fucking busy. And was always in shape.
Yeah,
and you never had to worry about that shit. Those are the difference between those guys, right?
It's like we can deal with all that goofy shit, but like if you show up and you're ready to go, like we know you're putting in the work. Jordan had said it before. He said Rodman was one of the hardest workers he'd ever seen. The guy was nuts, but like after games, Rodman's on the bike for 2 hours, like doing that whole thing. Really cared about his physical fitness for sure. And lived the same lifestyle, bro. Like, yes, if not worse. Rodman was really out there.
That's the difference.
Yeah.
So it can be done, but he doesn't care. He doesn't care. He doesn't care about the hoop side. Rodman cared about the partying side and the hoop side. He wanted to win. He wanted to be impactful. But like, yeah, I'm going to get my shit. I'm going to get it cracking on this side.
Yeah, don't talk to me after 10 o'clock, but you got me for a couple hours. I'm locked in.
Dennis Rodman was the work hard, play hard, the face of that. That was how he lived his life. So, but to get back to Draymond, last night, Yusuf Nurkic, they're playing the Suns. I don't even know what the fuck that was, but it was like a helicopter swim move, spin his arm.
He's trying to flop.
And he hits Nurkic in the face. When I was watching it, Nick, live, my initial thing is Nurkic has to get up and get in his, and like damn near swing on this dude. Everybody is scared of this guy. First of all, he's out there and he just does whatever he wants because no one's going to press him. No one does anything.
So he's acting like Oakley?
He's choking people out. No one does anything. Like, Nick, what did anybody on Minnesota do when that happened? Did anybody go grab Draymond? Did anybody go try to if something like that happened on the football field, oh my gosh. It is bedlam out there. People are getting hit in the head. People are also getting choked out. He choked out Gobert for 40 seconds. Nobody did anything.
No one did anything, yeah.
So it's clear that like guys don't want to get involved with this dude. No problem. But eventually, someone is going to step up and be like, hey, man, what do we got going on here? So he hits Nurkic. Nurkic goes down. Couple things, and I'm going to let you go. It's absolutely unacceptable. If you go through his list of games, also, this is also the problem. And I want to be clear. If you are fans of Nick and I, and you've been listening to No Catch Up for all these years, you know we are the negative police. Like I don't want to reprimand anybody for anything because I think this is professional sports and I think these are grown men and we're going to get to that Jokic shit because I got a lot to say about that ejection. But we're grown men making millions of dollars. We can take care of ourselves unless it's like egregious stuff. I don't think guys should be getting suspended. But you go back to Draymond Green stomping on Sabonis' chest, a clear stomp on his chest on the ground. He got one game for that.
Yeah. He
chokes a guy in midcourt, is holding him and doesn't let him go. He has him in a rear naked choke. He gets 5 games. The very next week, 2-3 weeks later, he's a swinging back fist and hitting Nurkic in the face. It's time to give this dude the hammer. Like, yo, you can't be out here doing this type of shit.
Yeah.
And I'm the last guy that wants to suspend someone 10 plus games, 10, 12 games for an incident like this. But, bro, come on, man. We've been going through this for years. Kicking people, stomping on people's chest, throwing elbow, all types of shit.
Yeah.
Bro, it's time to bring the house on my man. He needs to get 10, 12 games. And then it's clear, yo, Draymond, next time some shit like this happens, it's 20 games, bro.
He also fired on a teammate for getting a left.
Yeah. Like, come on, man. Yeah. Like, what are we talking about? Even if Steve Kerr, maybe it's a situation where the NBA gives him 10 and then the team is like, here's 5 more.
Kerr has clearly allowed this to go on.
Clearly.
I think Kerr has clearly decided a long time ago his edge is what makes us, right? And if you look at it when they won that last title, Draymond was, we talked about it, go back on all our episodes, Draymond was crucial to that, right? Like bringing them back and kind of just keeping that attitude with them. So Steve Kerr has clearly enabled this behavior, but yeah, man, this is the beast that you kind of created because shit, I'm watching the replay right now and then putting that up against his explanation. It doesn't make sense. You feel Nurkic behind you. you know that if you flail your long arms backwards in that type of motion, it's gonna hit him in the face.
Wait, keep
right?
that there, Nick. Keep that there. This is Draymond Green post game talking about what occurred with Nurkic and him hitting it. Here's Draymond Green after the game last night.
He was pulling my hip, and I was swinging away to sell the call. Made contact with him. As you know, I'm not one to apologize for things I meant to do, but I do apologize to you, sir, because I didn't intend to hit him. I sell calls with my arms. I don't fall or to sell a call. I'm not a flopper. So I was just selling the call because he was grabbing me and pulling my hip back. So I spun away, and unfortunately I hit him. And so, like I said, I apologize to you, Seth, because I didn't intend to hit him.
By the way, Nick, selling the call is flopping. In case anybody doesn't know the difference, there is no difference.
Flopping doesn't necessarily mean fall down. If you're selling a call, you're flopping.
Selling a call means you're flopping. So I don't want to hear that explanation. Remember?
Me, I'm not one to fall down when I flop. Oh, I would never do that.
I just flop with my arms.
I flop standing up.
Yeah, you remember when the guy with the audio of the Soldier Boy shit, where he's like, then they pulled out the hammer.
Yeah,
I pulled him up like this. That's what that just reminded me.
I know this
of him throwing his arms around. But listen, also, yeah.
It's so funny. I looked up his mask. I'm like, damn, I know this.
So look.
That's funny.
Also, you don't have the benefit of the doubt to say I didn't mean to do this or do that. It's nonsense.
Yeah.
Also,
that's all gone.
You throwing up your arms up by Nurkic is 7 feet.
That's the other thing. Your arm went up like this. You don't flop this way.
His arms went up over his head, and he hit him in the head. So
he's way bigger than you. Draymond is 6'6" on a great day. Nurkic is 7 feet tall. He swings up for him, dude.
Yes.
So just admit, hey man, I got heated. He was grabbing me. I didn't like it. I swung up.
He can't do that. He can't say that. But that's what happened.
But I thought he's Mr. Honesty. I want to apologize for things I meant to do. Yeah, I think if you're Silver, especially after some people felt you didn't go as hard, and I know that there's some limits as far as how much we always want them to do. We don't always want, but certain situations like why wasn't there more? And there are players association and collective bargaining things, and you can't just indiscriminately suspend people, which is one of the issues they ran into with John Morant. But at some point, man, like it's beyond a pattern of behavior at this point in time, right? Like it's his MO, it's who he is, it's how he plays the game, and they're always high-profile bullshit like this. So, and this is on national TV too, right? This wasn't on Spectrum Sports Network. This was a nationally televised game, one of only 5 games last night, right? And 2 marquee teams. So, yeah, if you're Silver, you got to come down on it, man. You got to call me to your office. If I'm Draymond, I'm hopping on a flight to New York probably today, and we're going to talk about it. And you're going to say, man, what do you want me to do?
No need for you to come out to New York, bro. I'm going to hop on the phone and be like, yo, this is nonsense. You do this shit every other week. Here's 15 games. 15 games might be too many, but
that'd be 20 games of suspension this year.
It would at least have to. He at least has to get 10 games, Nick.
Yeah.
He does this shit all the time. He does this all the time.
All the time.
This is not a once. In 2023, he has 4 incidents already in the calendar year.
Yeah.
It has to stop, man. Like, it has to stop. Something has to happen. Here's Nurkic after the game, talking about the incident, sitting next to Devin Booker in the postgame.
I don't know, man. I was behind the play. I don't think what's going on with him. I don't know. Personally, I feel like that brother needed help. I'm glad he not try to choke me, but at the same time, it had nothing to do with basketball, man. Like, I'm just out there trying to play basketball, out there swinging. I think we saw that often, but hope he, whatever he got in his life to get better.
Shout out Yusuf. Yusuf's been out here with us for a while now. We can tell he got the chain. He got the plain chain rolling.
Nurkic was looking clean right there. Nurkic was looking clean.
And that jacket was nice. The collar was very nice. Very nice collar on the jacket. I very much like it. And Devin Booker, the most Detroit guy ever, apparently now. I
The
talked about this
Blazers,
before, but
that Blazers money looked good on Nurkic, man.
dog looked very good. Nice jacket, very nice plain Jane, all gold. I need one of those.
Yeah.
Shout out Nurkic, man. Clean, very clean presentation. But yeah, he's right, man. He's out there trying to play basketball. This shit, it is ridiculous, bro. You can tell by Booker's look on his face that he's just like, yeah, I mean, this is what this
I'm
guy's
not trying
on
to comment on this shit, right? Don't ask me about this shit, but yeah, it's nonsense.
And it's even better that it's kind of put up next to what I think is his decline as a player, also, right? Like I think he was lucky to snag that last deal out of these boys, if we're being completely honest. And that was a Steph Curry saying, yeah, you got to bring my guy back, which goes back to Jordan Poole calling him a very expensive backpack for 30, which that and you know why that affected him. That's why he hit him. That one pulled at the heartstrings. That was emotional. Like, hey, bro, you over here huffing and puffing and acting like you're big and bad and all that. If it wasn't for 30 over there, you would be an end of the bench guy or maybe out of the league, right? Like if you had never gotten that opportunity and all that. So like, I'm not trying to hear it. Which I just thought when I heard that's what he said to him, that ultimately got him punched in the face. That one struck a nerve. You know how it goes. You can say a lot of shit, but like certain shit with because it's true. It's like, oh, no shit, that's true.
Yeah,
that's
no
true.
cap, no cap.
Yeah, so that's fucking true.
So Steve Kerr is 100% an enabler. He hasn't done anything for this. He's like, yeah, I talked to Draymond. Like, all right.
Yeah, cool.
Draymond knows that's unacceptable. Like, all right, are you going to bench him? Are you going to stop playing him? Are you going to do anything?
No.
Perfect segue into Jokic. So this is where it starts to get really crazy. So, for example, we just talked about this. Draymond stomps on Sabonis' chest in the playoffs, gets one game. Then you got a guy in Nikola Jokic, the best player in the NBA, multiple-time MVP, argues the call and gets ejected for half a game. So we also got guys stomping on people's chests, missing a game. And then we got a guy arguing with the ref for half a game. Essentially. For those who don't know what we're talking about, Jokic played the Bulls in Chicago last night, Serbian night. And by the way, let's get something very clear. The reason it's Serbian night is because they want to make money on the Serbian MVP that's coming into town.
A town with a lot of Serbian folks.
Do we understand? Like, this is what I think we're sometimes missing what's happening.
Yes.
This is a money-first entertainment business league. They have a promo for Serbian night for the big Baltic guy that's coming to town so they could print money off the Serbian people in the Chicagoland area. And then they throw the guy out for arguing a call in the second quarter. It's nonsense, bro. These soft, thin-skinned referees need to be – something needs to happen, Nick. I tweeted out yesterday, man to man, if you feel – before you throw somebody out, why can't we have a simple conversation in the middle of a timeout on a TV timeout? I go over to you like, hey, look, you getting a little too disrespectful. Next time you say some shit about this, or that, I'm going to have to tech you or I'm going to have to do something else. That's what needs to happen. You know what happens in soccer when someone starts talking crazy? He says, yo, wait a minute. Come over here and talk to me. Let's have a little conversation. If it's that big a deal, I'll bang you.
Face over there.
Yeah. Bro, I'll bang you with the tech, the yellow. And if it gets really crazy, I'll give you the straight red, right? Whatever. That never happens because it's like there's no warning. There's no conversation. These are grown men. Be a grown man and talk to Buddy for a second before you throw dude out. I said in the tweet, do you know how much it costs to go sit in the lower bowl at the United Center to watch the Nuggets play? You're pushing $1,000 evening, depending on where you're sitting. Can you imagine saving up a bunch of money to go see Jokic, your favorite player? You go to one Bulls game a year and they throw him out in the second quarter for no reason? It can't happen.
Or a bunch of family.
And someone needs to be reprimanded. And I don't know what's happening on, the post-game meetings for the referees and et cetera. And I actually don't believe that refs should have to get in front of the camera. And at one point I did think like, yo, why don't these guys do post-game pressers? but that could get so nasty that
Very nasty.
it would just get a
You've
little.
got to protect your officials.
Yes,
You're
you
not
got to
going
protect the
throw them up
officials,
there
right?
like that. That's they're lambs.
Well,
to
you
the
also
slaughter.
got to.
You'll never get you never be like, hey, great job officiating the game tonight. So tell us what you saw out there that made it so effective. It would be a bloodbath.
Yeah. So, but something that can't happen. What'd you think about the Jokic ejection in Chicago?
Yeah, I don't know what he said. Afterwards he said, yeah, I mean, I did say something that you're probably not supposed to say, but I see a lot of people get away with it. All I can think of is maybe he called him a motherfucker or something like that. Like,
no, well, Mayberry tweeted that he said, "Call the fucking foul." So
yeah,
he said
but he had to have said, yeah, but when he threw him out is when he was walking back in the paint, he said something else. And I don't know if he said it in the guy's direction or if he heard it. That's when he tossed him out. So I don't know what he said. Regardless, he wasn't in his face. There was nothing physical. It didn't look like something that was malicious. Yeah, it's obviously just ridiculous. Like you said, this is the league MVP in Serbian night in Chicago.
Nick,
in the second quarter of the game, like it was ridiculous. And I was watching it live, and I was actually extra pissed because I had Jokic over 9.5 assists, and he had 6 assists with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. I thought that was easy cash. But yeah, man, just a ridiculous call altogether. And even listen to the broadcast, Stacey and Adam were both just like that. That's absurd. Like, this is not what we can have happening. So yeah, I agree with it 110%, man. I mean, again, I think these officials take up a lot of abuse, and I think there are a lot of them that probably do hold their whistle. But that's not an excuse for that situation, man.
Listen,
not in that spot.
There is nothing in the English language you should be able to say to a ref that gets you ejected from the game.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I'm being sincere about this.
Yeah, I don't know
it's
about that.
If we're this soft, I mean, unless you bring up someone's kids or some shit like that,
some racial shit.
If you're
talking about these old black refs and you hit them with the N-word, they probably might not be going for that.
Come on. All right.
Not as a white, even as a black.
Okay.
Like, come on,
okay. Let me back a little
that's
bit.
what I'm saying. I can think of a few.
No racial. Yeah, like I don't want you to go anti-Semitic against the Jewish ref and not expect to be ejected. Like that's a little different. I'm talking about like non-racial, for you to say the F. You can say the F word 4 or 5 times in a row. You should be able to say that shit as much as you want. Before I throw you out, we have to have a conversation like, hey, what if I calm down a little bit? If you call me a bitch, let me tell you this, Nick. These entries, the few year 4 or 5 year referee is making $250,000 a year. He's getting paid to be called a bitch if he makes what he thinks is a bad call. If this is my opinion,
making more than that. I think it's around $400,000.
No, listen. The veteran refs making $550 plus
600,000, 700,000. Yeah, it's a lot of money.
And also, if someone calls you the B word, I'm not saying don't text them or don't go have a conversation with them. Don't throw them out of the game.
What if they do it twice?
Do you understand what I'm saying?
I'm just playing devil's advocate.
You get what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely. I thought it was egregious.
If you have ever played pickup hoops, the B word and the F word are getting swung around all the time.
Sure. Yeah, for sure.
People are calling people hoes, all that shit. It's basketball. The fact that you're throwing people out for that and not having a conversation, you're soft, you're thin-skinned, and you need to get a grip on what's actually happening out here. This is a professional sports. Men to men are playing at an opportunity to win a title and win a game, and we're getting paid millions of dollars. You don't have to take a ton of disrespect. But before that, have the conversation is what I'm saying. Don't get in your feelings about someone calling you a bitch and immediately throw them out of the game. Come on, man. And by the way, you probably missed the call. That's the other thing. Jokic got fouled on that play. I'm arguing with this dude. I'm telling this dude he fouled me. He actually did foul me. And then you want to throw me out because I said, yo, call the fucking foul? Are you mad? Yeah. It's crazy. It's nonsense, man.
And it's also on the heels of the Draymond conversation we just had. As far as I know, it's not like Jokic has a reputation of being one of those type of guys that's complaining about everything, right? Like this isn't like the Doc Rivers Clippers or whoever it is that complains after every single call. We watch a good amount of Jokic. I don't think, or Luka even, right? Like Luka's one of those guys who he complains after every single thing. Yeah. So maybe the refs are finally like, hey, get this guy the fuck out of here. That's not the case with Jokic. So yeah, it was a bullshit ejection, man. These refs are clearly trying to impact the game more so than they need to. It was clear that this particular referee got in his feelings when whatever he said, to your point, there's not too much that you can say that should get you thrown out. And I highly doubt that Jokic went out there and said something absolutely off the wall, right? Like I said, he probably looked at him and called him a motherfucker, right? And dude was like, what? Motherfucker. And then that's it, right? Something like that, man. I don't.
That is literally
listen.
I'm not even sure that's deserved of for a tech.
Yeah.
At least have a conversation. Like,
Yeah, for sure.
I really think the NBA should implement some of that soccer shit where, like, when it gets out of hand, blow the whistle, stop the game, tell Luka to come over here and be like, hey, man, you got to calm down or I'm going to start banging people.
Well, in all fairness.
Or call they call the captain over, call one guy over and be like, yo, look, go talk to this man and tell him that if he keeps that up, I'm going to start banging him. That's it.
In all fairness, the soccer decision is a lot more consequential in the fact that you're not just taking that player off the pitch, you're taking that position off, and you go down to 10 men. Whereas you don't go down to a 4-person game, you do lose one of your best player. But yeah,
the Nuggets without Jokic are 10 men. It's the same thing, man.
They weren't last night.
They're playing the Bulls.
Yo, be easy on Kobe White. Be easy on Kobe White.
Kobe White.
Kobe White. Kobe White.
Hey, unstoppable.
Hey, I was thinking, man, should we tear this down and build around Kobe White? Hey, for $12 million a year.
Low key.
Got him on that light ass. If Kobe's making 12.
Hey, low key, if you go back to when he really started to pick it up last year combined it all,
you were on it.
We're looking like 25, 5-5.
And I will give you, when no one was watching the Bulls season at the end last year, Sean was big up in Kobe White.
I'm like, yo.
Listen, I know we're not watching, but Kobe's been playing his ass off. Look, we talked about it. Since he's been in the league, the problem with Kobe White's development is the Bulls have given him 6 different roles. Hey, man, come off the bench and be a microwave. Hey, man, be the second unit point guard. Hey, man, start at point. Hey, man, be a spot-up shooter. It's like, guys got to know who they are, right? So to his credit, he has kind of made it through all that and figured out who he is as a player. So shout out Kobe White, man. It is very telling. We talked about Levine last week, so we don't need to go too deep in it. But this team plays so much better, like so much better.
It looks like Levine. A weight has been lifted off of everyone's shoulders. Oh my God, we don't have to deal with this guy.
We don't have to play with this fucking guy.
Like phenomenal. Let's get busy. Man. Yeah, well, we can come back to that. But yeah, man, the Jokic thing was absolutely egregious. I really think the soccer adoption of like, all right, let's calm down and let me talk to you for a second, and then let's get back to ball. Because I believe men respond to that. That is like a man-to-man thing. It's not a man-to-man thing for me to say something to you when you miss a call and you throw me out of the game. That's soft activity.
For sure.
Is the overall thing for me. So, yeah, it's infuriating stuff, especially I apologize to anyone that went to the Bulls game and spent $800 or $900 like I've done in the past to watch a player, and then they get moved out of the game in the second quarter for essentially nothing.
Yeah.
That's it. All right, let's go over to let's actually kick off this NFL with the Cam Newton talk, because I have the clip, and then we'll get into Mahomes and then the rest of the NFL talk. But Big Nick the Quick, I didn't even realize this was a thing until I saw them talking about Cam's outfit. And they were like, yo, you guys see this Cam Newton outfit, blah, blah, blah. But it was more like, forget the outfit. Did you hear what he said? Here's Cam Newton talking about quarterbacks in the NFL and if they're actually big-time players or just game managers. Listen to the people Cam Newton named here.
Lamar Jackson, obviously Patrick Mahomes, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, but Brock, they're not winning because of him.
He's not turning the ball over.
He's managing the game. And if we were to put that in its own right as game managers, Brock Purdy, Tua Tagovailoa, Jared Goff, and really Dak Prescott. These are game managers. They're not difference makers.
And when you say game manager, I'm not asking you to go out and win the game. I'm just asking you not to lose.
Not to lose the game. Listen, motherfucker, I don't give a damn what you do. You don't have to score every time. You just don't have to throw a pick every time either. If we're going to really call a spade, a game manager is different than a game changer.
Dak can't have a day. Just can't. I'm starting to ride with you on this Dak thing. I don't know if I've ever seen anything like it. He catches so many strays or shit that's even aimed for him. It just the man. It doesn't matter. He's literally playing. I know we're going to talk about the whole quote, and this goes into that. He's literally playing lights out football. Just beat the Eagles. Is the reason why this team is as good as they are. And now he's a game manager.
Listen,
he's thrown for 3,500 yards so far this season, and we still have 5 games left.
Dak Prescott's last 8 games. First of all, they've won 15 in a row in Dallas. 6 of the 7 wins are at home by 20-plus points. Not the toughest competition, but they're still mashing people.
Who cares?
Dak Prescott last 8 games, 305 yards a game, 23 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. That is 7 more passing touchdowns than anybody else in the NFL.
Right.
7 over that span. 118.5 on the quarterback rating, 69.3 completion percentage. Dak Prescott is absolutely making it happen. By the way, we were talking about Zeke leaving, and Tony Pollard's going to be this feature back that's going to be picking up 13, 14, 1,500 yards on the ground. That shit is quiet.
Haven't seen him.
He's not a number one. He can't take the load. He can't handle the load. He's too little. He doesn't bang enough for that. He's lightning. He needs thunder in the backfield where someone else can help him out and take on that load. You know who's picking up the slack? Dak Prescott.
Absolutely, 100%. It's not even picking up the slack. He is driving the boat. He is the catalyst for everything that they have going on right now offensively. Like, I don't – we talked about this with Purdy last week, right, where it was like, how long did it take Brady to shake the system quarterback thing? If we're looking at Brock Purdy and Brack – we called him Brack? We called him Brack Purdy, and he called him Brock Purdy.
He said Brack Purdy.
Yeah, Brack Purdy. Let me tell you about Brack Purdy. Listen, man, and Dak and Tua's a game manager now, apparently. Like, I could see how he could maybe start to go that way with Goff, but it's not true. And Goff certainly is the man. He didn't manage the game on Sunday at all. But it's just ridiculous, man. Like, and if you look at the numbers too, right? It's interesting. I understand. I think I'm trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, understand what he's trying to say. And the only thing I can come up with is that because Cam felt every time he went out there on Sunday that he had to be Superman in order for the Carolina Panthers to win, that he looks at a game manager as and a difference maker as 2 different things. But that's only because your team wasn't as good, right? You didn't have the whatever it is that some of these other things have going on. You maybe felt like you had to do that. You had to put on that cape. But because you don't every single Sunday, it doesn't mean that you're all of a sudden a game manager. Like, you can't watch Dak Prescott and come away from that game and be like, yeah, he managed the game. You know who's a game manager? What you saw from Ryan Tannehill all those years where the Titans were going to the playoffs with Derrick Henry and those boys. That's a game manager, right? Jimmy Garoppolo, when he's not turning the ball over, was managing games in San Francisco. There's a reason why it looks completely different this year. There's a reason why this year we're saying, oh, this is probably the team that's going to win the Super Bowl. It's because they have a quarterback playing at an extremely high level, not managing games. He is 100% going out there and winning games. All those plays that he's making are going out there and winning games. And the only reason we're not saying that he's doing that is because he was the last pick in the draft and he plays for Kyle Shanahan. To call Tua a game manager, to me, is absolutely crazy, right? Now, I have my issues with Tua, right? There are things about Tua that I do not like. There's things about the Dolphins I do not like. But when I'm watching Tua out there, I'm not like, yeah, man, that boy's out there managing a game. Look at him, man. He's just taking what's in front of him, checking down, doing all that. He's not Trent Dilfer. He's not Brad Johnson. You know what I mean? Like, these guys aren't managing games, and that just lets me know, like, what are you watching, man? Like, or maybe you're bitter, or maybe I'm not sure what it is, but it's ridiculous logic.
To go back to what you were saying about Cam and how he views the position, I think if you're not also running for 1,200 and passing for 4,000, you're game managing. I think that's what you were alluding to, is like he had to be Superman and go out there on every play. And he feels like if you're not doing it with your legs and doing it with your arm, I guess you're game management. But I'm going to tell you this.
But Purdy's numbers are way better than Cam Newton's numbers have ever been in his career.
Do you know who completed air yards per completion That means the yards the ball traveled in the air past the line
No
of
one's putting it
scrimmage
down the field more than him.
prior to a completion. Number 2 in the NFL at 7.2 yards is Brock Purdy.
Who's number 1? Josh Allen?
Coleridge, the fourth.
Oh, Coleridge.
7.7
Coleridge Bernard.
for Coleridge, the fourth.
Coleridge.
That's CJ Stroud for anybody that doesn't know. But Brock Purdy, no game managers are pushing it down the field like Brock Purdy does.
What are we talking about?
Yeah, no, it's just wrong.
It doesn't make sense. He's not going out there managing it. Like, do we know what a game manager looks like? Like, have you guys ever seen a game manager play football? I've seen plenty here in the Chicago, Illinois. My whole life was filled with game managers. I've had Jim Miller. I've had Shane Matthews. Those are Kyle Orton, one of my favorite quarterbacks of all time. High-level game manager, right?
High-level game manager.
You might be disrespectful to Kyle. Hold on, G. Let me back off on that one. But game managers, right? Like, again, Tannehill in Tennessee, when they were going 12-4 every year, is the definition of a game manager. Make the play when we need to, but Vrabel's not going out there every Sunday saying, man, Ryan really needs to sling that thing for us to win. The Niners, Brock Purdy has to play well for them to win. He does. Because you know what happened? When he didn't play well, what happened? They lost 3 in a row. And Purdy didn't play well. Game managers, it doesn't really matter what you do. Just don't fuck up. They're not telling Purdy, hey, man, don't fuck up. Maybe his first couple of starts, once they realized he could throw that thing,
that's actually a really good point. They clearly have full trust in Purdy to go out there and make plays and win games and go get 7 every time they have an offensive possession.
Run a bigger playbook than Garoppolo had, and Garoppolo was there for 4 or 5 years.
Put it like this. You want to know if you have a game manager? You want to know if your quarterback is a game manager or not? What is your offensive coordinator calling on 3rd, 6, 3rd, 7? When you're in field goal range, you want to know if your offensive staff and coaching staff trust the quarterback? In field goal range on 3rd and 7+, what are they doing? What does the play look like? Are they trying to go upfield, or are they throwing some horizontal screen, running a draw, running some shit where it's like, I'm going to do some low-risk shit that could potentially pick up a first down, but I am in no way, shape, or form going to put this guy in a spot where he could get sacked and take us out of field goal range. That never happens with Brock Purdy. Those boys trying to score 7 points every single time down.
And with how the NFL is right now, I think the game manager thing is kind of on its way out. Like, your quarterback has to be able to play. Like, the running game isn't what it used to be. Right? We're no longer giving the ball to the back 40 times a game. Guys are scoring too many points. You have to have a competent, effective passing game in the NFL. You don't have to be the Chiefs, right? You don't have to be an air raid offense, but you have to have quarterbacks that can execute. Like, I think the days of winning a Super Bowl with Dilfer and these guys are probably over. You know what I mean? Like,
you think Cam's a little bitter?
Very. I don't blame him. I mean, look, man, he got killed for years in his career. They never really protected him. The refs didn't really protect him, and he went to New England, and it was just that situation. I mean, yeah, he's bitter. He's out of the league at 32. But let's be honest.
By the way,
Cam. I love Cam Newton.
I was just gonna say, huge Cam Newton fans. By the way, I am for sure.
Yeah.
I love
never
Cam
fully developed as the quarterback that we thought he could be outside of that MVP year. MVP year was fantastic. Team goes 15-1. Cam throws 35 touchdowns, takes them to the Super Bowl, is absolutely almost like Auburn Cam was a one-man show, put the team on his back, right? And if you remember, we've talked about this. We said Auburn Cam versus LSU Burrow. I still have Auburn Cam as the greatest college football player I've ever seen as far as impact, because there were no other NFL players on that roster, mind you.
Coach got fired the next year. Yeah.
No other NFL players on the roster, and Cam comes down 21-3 in Alabama. So that's neither here nor there, right? And the MVP season, he was spectacular. You look after that, Cam's a 59% completion guy, right? Not accurate. Never really had those moments as a quarterback that you look back on and say, yeah, we just really liked the guy. So, yeah, I think he's bitter. He feels that he could probably still be in the league, and he probably could. I think the issue, and, I feel like he knows this, is the personality. Not that he's a bad guy, but I said it, the smartest thing that Belichick did when he made Mac Jones the starter was cut Cam Newton immediately after. You could not have Cam Newton as a backup quarterback standing behind a rookie. It's just too much. It puts on too much pressure. The second Mac Jones throws a pick, guys are like, hey, can we get Cam Newton back in here?
Right.
So, yeah, I think it's tough for him to we talk about it. Like our boy on the Bears, Bajent, gonna make millions of dollars as a backup. Shut the fuck up. Hold the clipboard. Come on if we need you to. Right? Shout out. Look at your boy Minshew. Come in, play well when you need to. He'll be back on the bench next year. He's rich. The Minshew family is great. Look at your boy. Who's your boy on the Bears? Chase Daniel. Threw like 8 passes, made $60 million. Like, shut the fuck up. Be good in the locker room. Help the young guys, but don't be a threat.
Yeah.
When your backup's a threat, it's bad for everybody. So, yeah, he's probably bitter, but it is what it is, man.
Big Nick the Quick. I'll be right back. Talk to me about Patrick Mahomes and that outburst. Is it warranted? Is it not? And then when I get back, we'll talk about it.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So a lot of talk around that this week. I heard a lot of people start to turn on just cut up. I heard a lot of people start to turn on Patrick Mahomes after that. Look, man, Kadarius Toney has cost them in multiple spots this year, right? Like when you start talking about the high-profile drops, when you start talking about the fact that this receiving core overall hasn't helped done Patrick Mahomes any favors, then you add in that play. Like, I think realistically his frustration was coming from the fact that once again, another one of these receivers let me down. But I think that he's just too classy of a guy and too much of a team guy to throw his receivers under the bus after that. So naturally he's going to deflect that towards the referees, man. You've never seen him come off the field and be that animated before. You've never seen him come off the field and be that pissed off before. I think a lot of it is due to the fact that these guys have been costing them in major spots all year round. What do I think about the call? Look, man, I don't pay attention to wide receiver alignment enough to sit up here and pretend to be an expert and know how often they're telling guys to move off the line. You had Rex Ryan talking about it. He said in all of his years as a coach, they never had him moving receivers. Usually it's other positions that are getting moved. And when you look at the replay, this dude is way over the line of scrimmage. So it's one of those situations where if you're Buffalo and you're reviewing the film afterwards, you're 100% going to send that into the league office and say, hey, look, why aren't we calling that stuff? So I understand both sides of it, man. The fact of the matter is at the end of the day, it was a penalty. Usually we're arguing things that aren't a penalty. This was very clearly a penalty. So it kind of is what it is, right? But I really think his frustration comes with the fact that his receivers suck. They consistently cost him in big spots, right? It's enough that they can't catch the ball. Now these guys can't line up correctly. Kadarius Toney has been in the league for 4 years. This isn't new. You've been playing wide receiver your whole life. Your pregame responsibility as a wide receiver is to line up correctly. He was halfway over the line of scrimmage, if we're being completely honest, right?
Dan Orlovsky did do a really interesting. Did you see that?
He'd been that way the whole game. He had been that way the whole game.
He had been lining up like that the entire game. Now, once I saw that, it's completely petty nonsense.
Sure. And in that spot, calling
this is another
in that spot
this is another situation, Nick, where the ref just has to have a conversation with someone and be like, yo, you're lining up off sides. The next time you line up off sides, I'm going to throw a flag. That's it, man. Why?
So do you think they've been seeing it all game and then waited to do that, or you think he just happened to notice?
Oh, you think he just happened to notice it, right?
He said they couldn't see the other side of the sideline. He couldn't see the down marker.
Yeah, I mean,
he was egregiously offside. I mean,
I will say that is a good point.
Remember Madden when you used to put your defensive end on the other side and they snap and you get your sack right away? Like that's what he was doing, bro. He was like that. He's the monster back at Madden. So
it's true.
So I mean, look, man. I think we could sit here and split hairs about this as much as we want to, but the bigger point is, unlike last year, because remember the receiver stuff started out rocky last year, but you had vets, you had Smith-Schuster, you had different guys who have been in the league that you would hope would figure it out. We're 13 games in, and these guys aren't even close to figuring it out. This is one of the most amateur receiving cores in the NFL, and they're doing him no favors. So I think it's just the culmination of frustration, and I think he realized in that moment. Culmination of frustration. I like that. He realized in that moment that I really can't win with these boys.
Yeah,
I need to be restrained from
that's what he was.
Yeah, the ref is not his real target. His real target is this shit team that you gave him.
Yeah.
Like, hey, guys, it was cool. Like, I understand I won a Super Bowl with Juju and a couple other nonchalant receivers, but this is too much. This is too much.
I said it earlier.
And again, man, you gave me a receiver. I said every time I hear Kadarius Toney's name, the New York Giants 2 years ago had absolutely no wide receivers on the roster and cut Kadarius Toney.
It's a bad sign.
A first-round pick. So, like, what does that tell you? You know what I'm saying? He's got the shiesty mask. He talked about it. He looks like a literal demon. It doesn't help his cause at all.
Hey man, he got the front gold diamond teeth, a shiesty mask on, and he looks like he's like just out of control a little bit. He's just like he has the look of a guy that's not getting the benefit of the doubt.
No.
That's
what I'll say. Where we're at, man. I think Mahomes finally. This to me is like, yeah, this is where we're at. These guys aren't getting better. If they're not catching easy passes in week 13, 14, and I'm talking about easy shit. These drops are crazy.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's in their head that they're going to drop it. It's really Toney that sticks out the most. Like, if we really want to get down to Kadarius Toney, I feel like every time, outside the Super Bowl last year when he scored that touchdown, name your favorite Kadarius Toney Chiefs moment. It's been bad. So I don't know what you do, man. I think Mahomes is just frustrated. He's out there playing.
I said that. I said it earlier, a couple weeks back, like a month ago. I said you asked him to do the impossible last year, and he got it done with a ragtag ass group of skill guys. And then you make it even more ragtag the next year, and it's kind of like, yeah, make that shit happen again. Instead of going to get this guy more help, DeAndre Hopkins was available. That's what I don't get, man. Instead of, it was the same conversation we had about Giannis in Milwaukee. You should be doubling down, not
every year.
Worry
about it later. Worry about the bill. Worry about the bill when they bring it to the table.
Yes. Not how can we exploit this guy more? How can we get this guy additional help so he can get us more rings? Because we most likely in my lifetime will never have another guy like this again.
And there might not be a guy in the NFL who needs less. To your point, he showed you last year. Fine, you guys want to get rid of Cheetah, I understand it, right? We're not paying a receiver $30 million a year, especially when I got to get my money and Trav's got to get his. But don't give me Sky Moore, Kadarius Toney, Rashee Rice, and a bunch of other guys I don't know, and no running game to boot, right? So it's kind of like, hey,
facts.
We can't hand off and gash anybody. You want me to go downfield? We're constantly in third and long because we can't run, right? And you guys just want me to do the impossible.
Yeah.
Excuse me. When in reality, if you gave me something, I've shown you guys I can get it done. And I'm committed and I'm a competitive motherfucker and I'm ready to go. But this is crazy. And I think that's what he realized. I can't drag this situation across the goal line. I really can't, because these guys can't even catch the ball. They can't line up right. It's always in a high-profile spot. This is the second week in a row some games have ended on some bullshit for us. I don't know what to do. I'm frustrated. It's not going my way.
Pat Mahomes this year only has 4 games where he didn't throw an interception.
Yeah.
4 games this year where he didn't throw an interception. Right now, he has 11 interceptions with, 3 games to go?
And you can't sit here and say he's playing bad.
4 games to go?
And we can't. Could you honestly sit here and be like, "Yo, Mahomes is playing bad"? Like, no,
dude.
Maybe you can. I'm not sure, but
no, definitely not. I mean,
not at all.
If you go back to 2020, 38 touchdowns, 6 interceptions. MVP in 2022 last year, 41 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. He has 23 touchdowns and 11 picks, purely on the fact that he's trying to make shit happen with nobody out there.
For 5,200 yards last year.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. They're like, oh yeah, you could do it.
You can do it again.
You can do it again. Here you go.
Yeah, he still completed 67% of his pass.
5,200 yards last year is.
And they're 8-5 because of him. Let's be honest. You want to talk about wins above replacement level player? Patrick Mahomes is 8 wins above replacement level player right now, because this is maybe a 1 or 2 win ball club without Mahomes.
Okay.
So when we talk about those numbers, and like, we're not saying he's playing bad. The defense is outstanding too. That's the sad thing about this. The defense is outstanding, right? The defense is. Could you imagine this defense with a competent offense? They're clear. They're class of the AFC. So yeah, you're doing them a disservice. You did nothing to improve that roster for them offensively this year. And to me, it's criminal, man. Like, yeah, if I have Pat Mahomes every single year, I'm pushing my chips in the table. Every year. It's like when LeBron's on your roster. You know, when LeBron's on your roster, you just start trading shit away because it's like, yeah, it's like, yeah, we're trying to win right now.
Exactly.
No, that's exactly right. In 2 years, I'm giving you this, that, and the third. Fine. We want to get Hopkins. Awesome. We want to get this guy. Awesome. Who else is available?
Yep.
Who's available?
100%.
Who doesn't want to? Who's my man and the Raiders? You said you want to free? Come on, man. What's it going to cost for Devontae? You guys don't want to pay him $30 million a year. I'll take him.
Yep.
Whatever. Figure it out, man. Nah, I'm not trying to hear it. When you have Mahomes out there, it is bullshit. Now I'm getting upset about what they're doing because it is bullshit.
It's malpractice on the front office side.
What they're doing to Mahomes, and that's what and he is too. That's
And
what
then
you saw.
and then he's got to deal with Matt Nagy now too.
Yeah, he's like, oh, this fucking guy. He's like, be you, Pat. He's like, fuck you.
Just be you.
And
man, go give me some fucking players, man. How about that? Tell them to go be you and give me some fucking weapons
give me some,
on
give
the
me
edge.
Some, give me some reinforcement. Yeah, be you and go shopping for some fucking guys who can catch the ball. I am being me.
Exactly. I can only so much meat I can go around.
Yeah,
man.
how much
Y'all
more meat do you guys want? Y'all are tripping. That's what you boys are tripping, man.
Y'all tripping, man.
You must have lost your fucking mind. You think I'm gonna come out here and do all this?
Yeah.
This is crazy. Nobody's
man.
working with less out here.
Nobody
Bro has 3 1,000-yard receivers on the roster.
Nobody. I think that the outburst is a lot of frustration.
Are any
between
of these
a couple
guys
different
top
things.
3 receivers on a contender? Like, let's be real. Are,
No.
any of these guys even playing?
These guys are like 3 or 4s on teams.
Yeah.
These guys in Miami are 4s. Their 1 is a 4 in Miami.
Yeah.
Dude,
And
God
the
forbid
Bears
he gets some weapons like
and the Bears.
Miami.
I don't even know who our 3rd receiver is, but I know he's better than his number 1.
I'll tell you this. Mahomes would die for a Darnell Mooney on his team right now.
What?
Darnell Mooney can catch. Darnell Mooney can
nice.
play.
Yeah.
We got to have we missed the recap this week. We got to have a pod on the Bears and this overall situation. We'll get you guys
It's getting bad for Sean. Hey, Sean's worst. I told you. Yeah. I told you it was going to happen. He's going to be back next year. I told you.
I'm not into it.
Remember,
I'm not into it at all.
Pod, I said, Sean, he will be back next year because the worst thing's going to start happening. They start winning some. Now folks are talking playoffs. And you're
in the hunt.
Talking about the playoffs for the Bears.
Boys in the hunt, boy.
The Bears can grab the 7th seed. Like, oh, shit.
Boys in the hunt now. Yeah,
they're in the hunt, man. Well,
we'll talk about that.
Falling apart.
The
Vikings won this weekend, but you got the Lions falling apart.
Because I will say this: this situation that Poles and the Bears are in is unprecedented.
Yeah,
it's actually unprecedented what they got going on.
They'll still come out.
We'll have.
Top 3 picks.
I'm gonna try to get. You know who I'll try to get? I'm gonna try to get Goff on, and we'll do like a Bears emergency pod. And we'll have like an overall conversation on what we think we should do and what's possible.
Much in what do you do with Fields mode right here? Because there is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna hit Goff when we get off, and I'll see what he's talking about. But that'll do it for No Catch Up Sports Talk via Chicago. I am your host, Sean Little. Big Nick the Quick with me as always. We will see y'all next week. Tell a homie to tell a friend to tell another friend. Pass them the link. Subscribe, like, comment. Love y'all, man. We'll see y'all later.